Previously on the Funkhouser Diecast Racing League.
It was, but that ain't gonna help you. Bye-bye, Max.
I don't think Cousin Ricky knows what's up ahead.
Max, put on your brakes. Put them on now.
Let's go.
Charlie 157 to base commander. We have Cousin Ricky in custody. However, he is in critical condition and will be heading to the local hospital.
Atomic.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Funkhouser Diecast Racing League as we bring you the second half of round 2 of the Cyrano Buckminster Presents Concept Chaos here at the old Yadkin Valley Speedway. Groups 1 and 2 are in the books as we have our first 4 drivers moving on to the semi-final round. Now it's time to figure out who will be the final 4 moving on.
Of course, before we move on to the racing action, we cannot ignore the somber cloud hanging over the old Yadkin Valley Speedway as Cousin Ricky suffered great injuries after his showdown with Max Lightning. Fans stand in solidarity and express great sympathy for Cousin Ricky as they stand outside his moonshine shack, as well as his racing hauler, sporting his apparel and holding their shine glasses high.
Oh my god, y'all act like he's dead, and besides, he makes a living out of driving us all insane. Besides, I know you fans just want to get down to the racing action, so let's get down to these driver introductions. In round 1, he dominated the competition, putting down a total of 18 points in his 1997 Pontiac Regis. For Numbskull Racing, it's Numbskull. If you want to talk about Mr. Consistency, look no further as he finished every race of round 1 in second place. For Puffs Racing, it's Karate Joe. If you want to talk about excitement, he came from behind to tie up the score and then win during a sudden death showdown. For Dubious Diecast, it's Mr. Dog. He's never to be underestimated as he has a reputation of living up to his name, coming out of nowhere to take the win. For Vapor Diecast Racing, it's Sneaky Bob.
Well, now that we have that taken care of, I must say that was a little rude, Funk.
Look, I get it, he's my cousin, but who says I have to be nice about it?
It's actually in your contract.
What the? Was that Bubba Joe? And what do you mean it's in the contract?
Cousin Ricky had me take over his operations while he's in the hospital, and you should really read that contract. Oh, by the way, race 1's underway.
I told you shouldn't have signed that.
Oh, dear God. Anyways, the cars are heading down into turn 1. Looks like we've already got trouble as Karate Joe has hit something on the track as looks like Sneaky Bob has gotten caught up as Numbskull is pulling away as he's already down the super stretch with a commanding lead as he's going to come down to the line and he's going to take first place. Followed by Mr. Dark and then Karate Joe coming in third.
Looks like we've already got a mixture of excitement and chaos in race 1 as there you see the track time put down by Numbskull as we check in on Sneaky Bob who's being turned around sideways and being helped out by the emergency crews in turn 1. There you see a piece of debris from another vehicle as here you see Karate Joe sitting on pit road as his car is being worked on.
I'm being told that piece of debris is a very important part of Karate Joe's undercarriage as there you see it coming loose and causing his car to pop up into the air. Let's go back one more time and see the very moment it happens is here you see his car bouncing up into the air. Then that piece of debris falls back and slams right into Sneaky Bob's grill. This causes Sneaky Bob to lose control of his car and causes him to spin out right at the end of turn 1.
Now let's go down to the finish line camera and watch this very close encounter for Numbskull as you see him coming out of turn 4, almost losing control of his car and jumping the pit lane wall. Luckily he is able to regain control of his car as he's able to come across the line in first place.
And with that first place finish, he sits on top of the board with 5 points with Mr. Dark right there behind him with 4. Luckily, Karate Joe was able to have his car repaired as he sits back on the line with 3 points, and then Sneaky Bob is sitting there with 0 points, but we still have 3 races left to go. Anything can happen as race 2's underway.
And as they exit the starting gate heading down the backstretch into turn 1, it is Karate Joe with Numbskull right there on his rear bumper.
But the other line has gotten a great run as here comes Sneaky Bob and Mr. Dark trying to catch up to the other group.
And as they head down the super stretch into turn 4, it is Karate Joe with a nice lead as he's going to come across the line in first.
Oh, how about that finish for third place as Mr. Dark comes out of nowhere to take it away from Sneaky Bob.
As always, never a dull moment here at the old Yadkin Valley Speedway as we go back and check out that replay.
As we go back and watch the lead group, here you see Numbskull just bump drafting Karate Joe basically all the way down in the turn 2. You see this great run by Mr. Dark and Sneaky Bob as they head down into the chicane. As they exit, they are 2 trains heading down in the turn 3. As you see, Karate Joe is doing his best to hold off Numbskull. Here you see Mr. Dark starting to make his move while Sneaky Bob gets a little loose. As they come out of turn 4, Sneaky Bob hits the outside retaining wall. Mr. Dark takes the best of this as he makes a move around the outside of him as he's just going to barely beat him out at the line.
And as fortunate as that is for Sneaky Bob, it keeps Mr. Dark right there within striking distance of Numbskull, just 2 points behind him.
Right you are, Nigel, as the top 3 cars are only 2 points apart from each other as Numbskull sits on top of the board with 9 points with Karate Joe just 1 point behind him as 2 races are left to go as race 3 is underway. Down the backstretch they go. They are neck and neck as they head down the turn 1, but Sneaky Bob has a slight advantage over Mr. Dark. But Mr. Dark gets a big bump from Numbskull as he gets pushed to the front.
Numbskull is now knocking on the back door of Mr. Dark as he is trying to make a move.
Oh, trouble behind Mr. Dark as the cars have got loose as Mr. Dark, he gets loose coming out of 4. He gets slammed by Sneaky Bob and oh, what a finish down at the line.
Sneaky Bob pulling off his famous "where did he come from" maneuver as we have a photo finish down at the line.
We're definitely going to have to go back and watch that Merch by Meek and replay as here you see them coming out of the chicane. Mr. Dark breaks away as Numbskull gets loose. Here comes Sneaky Bob with a run as he goes high. Numbskull puts a block on him, but as they come out of turn 3, Numbskull gets loose and he has Sneaky Bob right there on his bumper. Let's back it up and check out the turn 3 camera as here you see Mr. Dark gets away as here you see Numbskull and Sneaky Bob are right on each other as here you see Numbskull gets turned around as Sneaky Bob gets right past him as they head down in the turn 4. But keep your eyes on the leader, Mr. Dark, as he exits turn 4. His car gets loose as he gets turned sideways. Now here comes Sneaky Bob into the picture as he slams right into the front of Mr. Dark. It's now a drag race down to the line as it's going to be Sneaky Bob just beating out Mr. Dark by inches, taking that win.
Well, like Cousin Ricky says, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing.
What's up? Baba Joe, where are you even at?
That is classified information.
What do you mean classified information? I pay your checks, therefore I should know.
You know, you should really read that contract.
Oh my God. Anyways, we are down to the final race, and as you can see, looking at the scoreboard, we have a 3-way tie for first place.
Right you are, Funk, as Numbskull, Sneaky Bob, and Karate Joe are all tied with 11 points.
First place can still be taken by any one of these drivers as race 4 is now underway.
As they head down the backstretch one final time, it is Mr. Dark with the lead in turn 1.
Here comes Numbskull with a run as he takes the lead down into turn 2. Through the chicane, does Numbskull have what it takes to take it all, or will somebody snatch it from him as he gets loose as he heads down the super stretch? Here they come out of the final turn, and it's going to be Numbskull taking the win, followed by Mr. Dark, then Sneaky Bob and Karate Joe.
Another amazing pass by Numbskull as he's able to hold on to it and take the win.
Absolutely, Nigel. As we watch Numbskull come out of turn 3, he almost loses complete control of his car, but he's able to save it as he comes across the grandstand just before hitting down in the turn 4. Once he hits this point, it's smooth sailing as Numbskull is able to make it down to the line as he's going to come in first place, followed by Mr. Dark right behind him.
And how about this finish for the 3rd place spot as Karate Joe almost takes it away from Sneaky Bob, but Sneaky Bob is able to hang on to it.
Absolutely amazing racing taking place from this group as we have tied up the points, and we now know who our next 2 drivers moving on to the semi-final rounds are. With a total of 15 points, it's going to be Mr. Dark. And your winner of this event, tallying up a total of 16 points, it's Numbskull. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We still have one more group to go. We'll be back in just a minute.
The following announcement has been brought to you by the Cousin Ricky Order.
Hey y'all, Bubba Joe here, stepping in for Cousin Ricky to talk to you about this amazing line of shirts from Merch by Meekin. Of course, with every single t-shirt sale, you also get a Cousin Ricky Order CRO decal to show your support. And speaking of the Cousin Ricky Order, we have the Cousin Ricky Order t-shirts available. And they're available in multiple sizes, so be sure to go to merchbymeekin.com and order yours today. Oh, and I almost forgot, while Cousin Ricky is in the hospital, we'll be showing him support by putting all shirts on sale for $19.99. So be sure to go to merchbymeekin.com, order yours on Facebook, or call in today and show your support for Cousin Ricky.
The preceding announcement has been brought to you by the Cousin Ricky Order.
Atomic.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Funkhouser Diecast Racing League as we bring you the final group of round 2 of the Cyrano Buckminster presents Concept Chaos. Your co-host Nigel Thurgood here as your host Funkhouser is in the corner throwing a hissy fit.
I am not throwing a hissy fit. I just cannot believe we're still running those CRO ads, and now Bubba Joe's a part of it.
I'm telling you, man, you should really look at that contract because it's fairly clear in black and white.
All right, that's it. I've had enough. Nigel, I know you must have some Oxford University or Yale friends who can help us get through this.
Oh, so you assume because I come from across the pond that I have a bunch of Ivy League friends?
Well, I mean, you do, don't you?
Well, I mean, yes, but that's besides the point.
Oh my God, let's just get down to these driver introductions. Starting us off, he dominated round 1, putting down an almost perfect score with a total of 19 points. For Blue Line Racing, it's Resume! And round 1, he smoked the competition, putting down a total of 18 points. For DRT 3K Racing, it's Sam Hall! What's that smell? That's right, you guessed it. It's that 2013 Cadillac El Mirage burning up the track in round 1. For Variant Skunk Works, it's Ash. And finally, in round 1, he was able to hold up the competition and got a clean getaway with a second place finish. For American Outlaw Racing, it's Outlaw.
The cars are lined up on the starting grid, ready to go, and there you see Blue Line Racing sitting in that front inside position.
Blue Line definitely has the fastest car, but you have 3 of the top 5 qualifiers in this group. Anything can happen as we are set and ready for race 1, which is now underway.
And right out the gate, as expected, it is Resume leading them down in the turn 1 as Ash and Sam Hall are fighting for second place behind him.
And what a battle it is as they have exchanged places twice as they head down into turn 3.
Sam Hall now knocking on the back door of Resume as they come down to the final stretch.
As they come down to the line, it's going to be Resume coming in first place, followed by Sam Hall. Then it's going to be Ash and then Outlaw bringing up the rear.
Resume living up to the Blue Line standard of excellence, taking race 1.
Absolutely, Nigel. As you check out the Merch by Meek and replay camera, here you see Resume going onto 2 wheels as he comes out of the S-turns. But you keep your eyes on Ash and Sam Hall as they're fighting for second place behind him, as Sam Hall takes it going into turn 2 as they head through the chicane. He's got Outlaw right on his tail, giving him a push, but Outlaw loses control of his car as he starts to bounce all over the track just before heading into turn 3. Luckily, he's able to regain control of his car, and he's able to continue on for the finish.
As you know, every point matters, and luckily, even though he came in 4th place, he was able to save himself from a DNF.
Like you said, Nigel, every point in this series is precious, especially with how close the race times are for these cars. But we still have 3 races left to go as race 2 is now underway. Down the backstretch heading into turn 1, it's Sam Hall with a nice lead, but he has Resume right there on his tail, giving him a push down into turn 2. Here comes Outlaw challenging for the lead as he goes, oh! Resume and Outlaw are tangled up as they head down into turn 3. As you see, Sam Hall's going to pull away. Oh, he rides a pit wall, but he comes across the line in first, and here comes Outlaw coming in second place.
That trouble in turn 3 definitely slowed down the other drivers as here you see Ash coming across the line in 3rd.
There you see the track time put down by Sam Hall as we go in and check in on Resume, who is sitting down at the exit of turn 3 as they're being worked on by the emergency crews.
Oh look, a Bubba Joe sighting.
Aw, anyways, as we watch the cars exit the chicane, here you see Resume on the inside quarter panel of Outlaw as they head down into turn 3. Outlaw is able to break free, but unfortunately for Resume, he gets stuck just before the tire pit. As we change up the camera angle, here you see one more time going into turn 3. Outlaw is able to break loose, but here you see Resume gets pushed down onto the apron.
Now let's go down to the final stretch cam as here you see Sam Hall coming out of turn 4 and his car hits the outside retaining wall as it almost causes him to lose control as he rides the inside pit wall, but he's able to save the car, straighten it out as he comes across the line in first.
Luckily, Sam Hall was able to straighten his car out and put 5 points on the board, putting him in the lead with 9 points.
Sitting just behind him, we have a tie for second place between Outlaw and Ash as Resume sits on the board with still 5 points.
Well, anything can still happen as we have 2 races left to go as race 3 is underway.
Down the backstretch into turn 1, it's Outlaw and Ash fighting for the lead.
Outlaw in that Mustang just takes off as he heads down into turn 2, but here comes Ash with a head of steam with Resume right behind him as they're battling for the lead.
Outlaw gets turned sideways.
Oh, they all collide as the Outlaw gets broke loose as the other cars are tied up behind him. Oh, more trouble as Outlaw comes across the line in first, followed by Sam Hall in second.
There was chaos all over that race as the cars have collided and come to a stop right there at the entrance of pit road.
Can we really expect anything less with a Mustang in a race?
Come on, Bubba Joe, not you two. Anyways, emergency crews are checking in on Ash and Resume as we check out this replay. Watch the cars battling for the lead as they head down into turn 3. Here you see Outlaw has a slight edge, but he gets turned sideways by Ash and then he hits the wall, causing a chain reaction behind him.
At this point, point, Ash is trying his best to straighten out his car, but he's now being pushed by Resume and Sam Hall as they head down to the tire pit right there at the entrance of pit road as you see that hard hit.
Hard hit is an understatement as you see what it did to the wall, and there you see the tires exploded and just going everywhere.
Now let's watch it for one more angle as you see just how hard this impact is.
And with that second DNF, as unbelievable as it is, unfortunately, Resume is now mathematically out of this competition.
Although it may be a stretch, Ash still has a chance to move on if he wins and Outlaw ends up crushing out.
Well, as we all know here at the old Yadkin Valley Speedway, nothing is outside the realm of possibilities. As we are down to the final race, it's time for Race 4. Down the backstretch they go for the final time as Ash with the lead into turn 1 with Resume right there next to him as Resume gets a run and takes lead in turn 2.
Resume might be out but not down as he seems to be making a statement here in the final race.
Ash is trying his best to catch up to keep his hopes alive as they come down to the line. It's going to be Resume coming in first. Oh! Outlaw is upside down as he gets struck by Sam Hall as he comes across the line.
A chaotic finish here at the old Yadkin Valley Speedway as Resume takes the last win of the day.
And earning that win in blue line fashion as you watch Resume taking the lead from Ash as they head down in the turn 2 with a great run.
And of course, as always, once he takes that lead, he does not relinquish it, taking it all the way down to the line.
And speaking of the line, let's switch to the finish line camera as here you see Outlaw hits that outside retaining wall. It looks like he straightens it out, but as a Mustang does, it completely loses control of the car and it flips over as here you see Sam Hall coming in behind him and slams right into his rear quarter panel as Sam Hall is able to make it across the line, but unfortunately for Outlaw, he ends up with a Mustang DNF. And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for round 2, Group 4 of the Cyrano Buckminster presents Concept Chaos, and your final 2 drivers moving on to the semi-final round with a total of 11 points. It's Outlaw, and your winner of this event, racking up 16 points, it's Sam Hall. That is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for round 2 of the Cyrano Buckminster presents Concept Chaos, as we give a big shout out and congratulations to Sam Hall, Outlaw, Numbskull, Mr. Dart, Dusty Miles, Flip, Little Dog, and Cash Money himself, as these are your drivers moving on to the semi-final round.
Of course, let us not forget the other competitors here in this great tournament, as your builds have produced some amazing racing action for the fans here at the old Yadkin Valley Speedway.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Nigel, as we thank you all for being a part of this event, and we also thank all of you at home for watching, and if you love the content you see, please remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to share as we bring you more exciting racing action here from the old Yadkin Valley Speedway. And of course, before we go, ladies and gentlemen, we always want to give that big shout out and thank you to all the members of the Funkhouser fan club, as it is your contributions that help our channel grow. So as always, thank you.
Baker 133 to Base Commander, we have received word that Cousin Ricky is no longer at the hospital and is outside of our custody.
Wait, you what? Ah, Ricky!
I told you.